channel. Today I'm going to be going over how to repot, or how I repot with this Thai Constellation, and also how I install a moss pole. I haven't really got a plan for the video besides that's what I'm going to do, so if it's a little chaotic, I apologize for that. I actually got this Tycon for $43 at Walmart, and it is absolutely massive. I'm not sure the video will even do it justice, but let me see if I can pull it up to show you. Look at that. That's the last leaf that it's put out, and it also looks like it should be pushing another one soon. This is my second Walmart Thai Constellation, and this is just more than I could have ever asked for. I think a couple months ago, before Walmart started producing these, this plant probably would have been around $200+, so I'm super excited and I feel lucky to own it. So for now, that's not really what the video is about, but I did want to mention it. For now, I'm going to show you guys how I repot and transplant to a moss pole, because I'm really excited to see how this one grows. Also, if you can see on the bottom here, it already has several aerial roots growing into the soil, so I'm going to try to, since this is peat moss, I might try to remove those aerial roots and actually insert them into the moss pole. I'm not super sure. I'm going to have to get a good look at the roots first to see. But yeah, I'm also going to be taking this smaller one off, and I'm going to try to root that node, so I have two. Yeah, let's get into it. So the only moss pole that I have right now are these, and then I have the D-shaped clear moss poles from Amazon that I also got. I wanted to use this metal one for this, but it's way too long. So what I'm going to be doing is actually cutting it in half, because I don't think a Tycon would ever even need this much for years and years. What I might do is save the other half and then extend it later, because personally, I don't like the look of the moss pole, so I like to hide it as much as possible. But yeah, I'm just going to cut this in half and go from there. I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna have to go find some more pliers. This is gonna take forever with these, so give me a minute. Okay, I don't have any more pliers, so we're just gonna go crazy with these and hope for the best. Give me 3 hours. Okay, so after all that, I finally got it cut into two. I'm gonna probably chop those ends off. I don't know if you can see. I'll probably chop those off later, and then I'll end up extending this one, but this is the one I'm gonna use for now. It's pretty clean cut. I also have to chop this in half, so I'm gonna do that. Just measure like this, and then cut below the hole that it already has, because these are pre-bought. So I'm just gonna cut below that hole like that. I did bring scissors for this, so it should be a little easier than that was. Alrighty, so now I have 2 half-size moss poles, and I'm just gonna go ahead and attach these with zip ties and go and fill it with moss. I actually have some sphagnum moss soaking in the sink. It's super low quality. I didn't realize it was such low quality. I bought it from a local garden store that I have around here, and it has just all kinds of stems in it and wood pieces. So I'm gonna have to go pick that apart for a little bit, but I'll be back shortly after that, and I'll go ahead and do this with you guys on camera, just putting it together, but the moss I'll just stuff on my own time. But I just have a bunch of zip ties here that I'm going to be using to attach it. I recently went back to work. I had a month off because I actually moved, and going back to work has been so tough. I feel like I had all the time in the world to do all the things that I wanted to do before I went back to work, and now that I'm back in work, I'm like very stressed because I have all of these houseplants and things that I need to do outside of my houseplants, and I'm a little overwhelmed. But I imagine that I'll make like a schedule and be able to figure that out a little more effectively than what I'm doing right now, because right now I don't really have a system. I do say that I appreciate that a lot of my plants are in LECA. It is pretty low maintenance, and it's kind of kept down on my pests a little bit. Not eliminated them, but kept them down a lot so that I'm not having to worry about it. I'm not sure if you can see, but my cat's actually in the window yelling at me. She's about to push all of my plants out of the windowsill. So let's see if she does that. They're all glass, so I'm interested to see if she cracks them. But yeah, I do appreciate having the lower maintenance that the semi hydroponics supplies for me. Mentioning that I do work full time, I only put plants in soil if I really have to, or if I think that they might do better in it, or if it's a plant that I really don't want to risk rotting the roots on. If it's more of a rare or uncommon plant, I don't want to risk rotting, then I'll just, if it's already in soil, I'll just leave it in soil, like this one, for example. Not that they're even uncommon anymore. I'm mentioning that Walmart is now mass producing them and putting them out to the population, but nonetheless, it's a plant that holds a spot in my heart. It's one of the ones when I first started house planting that I was like, gosh, I have to have that, and it seemed almost unattainable, but now I have 3, so I guess it's more accessible than originally anticipated. I don't think that I'll get another one, but we'll see. I actually am going to a plant swap on the 15th, and I'm excited. Sorry, I have the sniffles a little bit too. My wife got me sick, but I am excited to see what they have. I live in a really, really, really small town now, and the plant community isn't that extravagant. There's not very many of us enthusiasts out here that really care more than just a tomato or a piece of basil or something, that are actually enthusiasts about the house plants. So I'm excited to see, maybe meet other people that also feel this way about plants, that kind of want to make it really a lifestyle, because it kind of is, and maybe make some friends, because I just moved to this town, so I really don't know anyone that much. I did buy a Monstera Aria cutting from someone who actually lives on the base that I work at. So we've been talking, and I'm excited to have befriended her. She seems to be very knowledgeable, and she's been helping me out a lot with my collection. And like I said, also expanding it, because I did buy from her. So yeah, I'm super excited to have made that friendship and to see which other ones I can make along the way. I don't think that, I'm almost certain actually that my wife is tired of me coming up to her and saying, look at this leaf, you know? So it's exciting to have people that are also equally as passionate about the same things that I'm passionate about, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm hoping that with the workload that I'm gonna be having here shortly with work and coming home, that I don't allow my houseplants to be put on the back burner, because it is something that I do love, and I know that when I'm not as busy, it's gonna break my heart to see them not flourishing like they could be if I had more time to give them. But I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, I've just put this on like this. I used the holes to apply it to the mesh, and what I like to do after is just make sure the zip ties are super tight like this, and then I just cut off the remainder, and that's it. That's how you make a V-shaped moss pole with the metal backing, or the clear backing but the metal front. I'm gonna go ahead and clip these off camera and then go stuff it full of moss, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'm back from filling that moss pole. See the clear backing. I love this type of moss pole because you can actually see the roots growing throughout it, which I'm super excited to be seeing. But I just stuffed it probably 3/4 of the way, because this side is gonna sit down in the pot, and I don't really want sphagnum moss down in my soil, keeping it moist, if that makes sense. So I'll show you a little later on the process of putting it down in there, but for now, I'm gonna be taking the soil off of this plant here. The roots are actually just exploding out of the bottom of this pot. There's actually a huge one right here. It's got a little bit of rot on the end. I'm gonna show you guys how I treat that, but I'm hoping to be able to get this out with minimal root damage. It's not looking like I'm gonna be able to. I may have to do a little trim, but yeah, basically I'm just gonna kind of squeeze and wiggle this guy out and hope that the bottom unlodges a bit, which it does not look like it's going to. Maybe I could cut the pot. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that, because I really don't want to lose what roots they have, because I don't know if you guys know or not, but variegated monsteras as a whole in general, Arias, Albos, Thai Cons, mints, whatever the case may be, if it has any variegation at all, it is prone, especially Thai Constellation, it is prone to rot those roots. So That is not something that I want to see happen with this guy. I can't believe that I got it for the price that I did, and with the size that it is. So I would really appreciate it if I did not rot the ones that it does have, and if I was able to maintain the ones that it does. What I'm gonna do is cut off the tips that do have a little, starting to show the signs of rot, and those I'm gonna just snip off the end and then treat with a castile soap and hydrogen peroxide mix that I'll show you here shortly. I was able to, I'm just kind of shimmying it off, feeding these guys through. Look at that, almost got it. This guy's a little stuck. Sorry, buddy. Got it. So it's just one, and it actually does have a rot, so I think it's okay if I just kind of clip it and just treat that rot instead of trying to save that root. Look at that. I got most of them. So I am not a fan of peat moss, I will say that. Actually, this aerial root ends right here, so I am going to be able to salvage that and put it into the moss bowl, which is super exciting. But yeah, I am not a fan of peat moss, so I'm actually going to get all of this peat moss off as much as I possibly can, and then I'm going to go rinse it in my sink because I do not want a single bit of whatever grower's choice is left on this baby at all. But it seems to be heavily root bound, which is not a bad thing with Monsteras. They tend to almost prefer it. I'm wondering if this pot's gonna be too big. No, because I have the moss bowl. This pot should be perfect, honestly. But for now, I'm just gonna work on removing as much of this peat moss as I can while still salvaging some of those roots. Well, all of those roots, hopefully. But yeah, so I'm gonna do that and I'll get back with you. Okay, so I'm back after doing that. I separated this little guy and he has his own root. So I'm gonna put him in a little pot, and I have done what I am willing to do with this root system. I don't think me sitting here and agitating it anymore. I rinsed it in my sink also, but I don't think me sitting here and trying to break apart this root ball anymore just to get the peat moss out is gonna be entirely necessary. I think it might do more harm than good. So I'm just gonna end up leaving that. What I'm gonna be doing now is going in and cutting the ends of the rot that I was telling you. It's not rot, it's just where it was exposed to the bottom of the pot and got squished. So I'm gonna be dousing the entire thing in this castile soap peppermint mix with hydrogen peroxide in there, and it's got water as well, and just dousing the whole thing. Let me show you. Dousing this entire root system with it just until it's dripping, soaking wet, so that it can kind of kill any of the bacteria that may or may not be growing in there. But yeah, I just do this. I also use this as an insecticide, and it does wonders. I haven't had, like I said in my previous videos, I haven't had any issues with pests other than the occasional fungus gnat or whatever the case may be. But I did have a plant that I bought with spider mites, and this actually, I'm gonna go ahead and spray the whole thing, but this took that out with literally one treatment. I did multiple treatments, but after the one treatment, I did not see any issues with the plant following that. So I do swear by this. I think it's an amazing mix. I watched another YouTuber do something similar, and I think I created my own based off of that. But yeah, so I'm gonna now just go in. These are sterilized, but I'm gonna go ahead and spray them with this as well. But I'm just gonna go in with these and cut off any of those pieces that were looking a little bit sus. That one. And then I always just cut until I see complete white. This guy. I think it's important to do this step because if not, that root rot is going to travel up into the rest of the roots, and it would be an absolute shame because this Thai Constellation has an amazing root system already formed, and I would hate to ruin it just because I didn't do the extra step. I also, when I'm repotting plants, I take I think it's called microinoculant. It's called mycorrhizal inoculant, yeah. So I do take that and I sprinkle it all over the roots. It's supposed, they call it like Root Crack, I think, a brand also makes it. And basically it just supports nutrient intake for the root system and kind of helps prevent transplant shock. I know I've done a lot to this plant, so I would not be surprised if it did get a little bit of shock, but hopefully that micro inoculant kind of helps bridge the gap. So yeah, but I'm just gonna take that inoculant there after I've cut off all those, and just, I used to do it by hand, but now I just kind of sprinkle it out of the bag. But I just do kind of like this and get it all on there, kind of a light layer. And then I do all the sides because I want to make sure that it gets on the whole plant. That looks good. But then it's time to stick her in a pot. So let's go over there and do that now, I guess. I'm a little nervous that the whole thing isn't gonna fit in this white pot. I don't have a larger one. I'm gonna have to finish the video later if I can't get this to fit, because it is a massive root system that I was not anticipating. Obviously it fits by itself, but with the moss pole. So let's get into that and see. So I have my soil mix next to me. It's a mix of perlite, soil, activated charcoal, leca, orchid bark. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I use that. It helps with aeration to the roots. It's a chunkier mix. But yeah, so the first step that I do is place the moss pole. So I'm going to set this Tycon next to me. And then I always put some of the soil mix. So that's why I left the gap, is in order to put the soil mix in the bottom of this, so that the roots can also go down there if they choose. And then I just turn this upside down and do that. And then your moss pole's placed. See that? Following that, I kind of try to stand it upright and then backfill around it so that it has something to stand on. I try to keep the chunky out of the back because I know roots are not going to be back there, but sometimes it's inevitable. Yeah, that's going to be a little too much down there. I might have to take some of that out, considering. But yeah, so now I just take and try to shove my Tycon in there. Again, I don't know if this is going to fit. I might have to take some of that out. Let me take some out. But I really hope it does. I am not wanting to go buy a new pot. Yeah, so I just took some of that out. I'm going to put some more back in because I did take all of it. But that way the roots aren't touching the bottom of this. But so after that, I just kind of flatten this root system out and shove it in. So I'll be doing that. See if I can kind of separate some to wrap around the sides. I don't know that this pot's gonna be a good fit, but I'm hoping so. Because I know it'll be fine once it gets down in there. It's just fitting it. Because it's not too big with the moss pole to pot into. It just is an awkward shape because of the pot that it was in previously. See, I got some more of that peat moss out. But yeah, I'm just gonna break some of this apart and try to see if I can wrap it around the back versus just shoving it in the front. I think it'll fit better that way. Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. More peat moss. Maybe I should have done a more thorough job. I was so nervous that I might give it root shock that I didn't do too much with the roots. Ooh, you heard that? So sad. Sorry, buddy. But maybe I'll go rinse it again because I did open it up pretty wide now that I can see that peat moss in there that I was trying to get out so badly. Yeah, I'm gonna go rinse it again, spray it with the Castile soap, and then I'm gonna put the micro inoculants on. I'm gonna be back, so I think it'll fit after that. Okay, so I'm back after that. A lot of that was peat moss and not actually roots, so I'm really happy that I made the decision to do that, and I think it's gonna fit a lot nicer down in this pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and shove it in there. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. It's all filled. I'm not sure if you can see. There's one gap over here that I'm not too fond of, but there's no roots there. And I think it'll be okay without it. I tried to kind of work it down into it a little bit. See, that's why it kept falling, because I keep patting the side. But I kind of tried to work it down into there, and I still might. Let me just kind of give this a little extra love here. And then, yeah, following this, I'm going to go ahead and tie it to the moss pole, because you can see it kind of can't support itself on its own until, oh, I did get that gap. Thank goodness, because I did not like it. But, yeah, so after that, you can kind of just tie the moss pole down and then go water it, and you have yourself a mounted daikon or whatever plant you're planting. Yeah, so I'm going to do that right now on video. Well, actually, I might not video it because it is a little finicky, but yeah, so I'll be right back. All right, so I have tied it once down here at the stem, and then I also tied the petiole once. It's not actually a tie that is super tight to hold it to the moss pole. It's more one to support, because Thai constellations do have very, very small internodal spacing, so it is hard to find a spot on the plant to attach it to the moss pole at this size, if that makes sense. So I've just got one on the stem here and then one on the petiole in order to kind of support it a little bit, but not actually tie it down hard enough so that the petiole could snap or that the next leaf could be damaged. But yeah, this is what it looks like on a moss pole. I'm gonna get you a full view from the front, the side, the back. But yeah, I do love it. I am super excited to have gotten this plant today for the price that I did, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you have any ideas for content that you, here, let me put this up here so you can see. If you have any ideas for content that you guys would like for me to create, or tips and tricks, or care videos, or whatever the case may be, then just let me know and I'd be happy to make those videos for you all. I am a little overwhelmed, like I said earlier in the video, about all the things that I have going on, but I really am invested in this, and I am excited to see where it goes. So if you have any requests, please don't be too hesitant to ask, because I will make the video for you, or just answer your comments, or whatever the case may be. I had fun doing this with you guys, and I really hope to see you back here next time, and thanks for watching.